So, you want to learn how to code in Skript. More specifically, you want to learn how to code a basic third life, but you don't know how. Well, good news for you, it's surprisingly easy. First of all, you're going to need a server. You could use a DeddyMC server, you could use an Apex server, you could use a Pebblehost server, you could even use a Minehut server. However, if you want to use a FreeHost server, you cannot use Aternos, as for some reason it just does not support Skript. I'm sorry, I have tried. I'm just using a computer hosted server as my computer is pretty beefy, so it can handle it and I can dedicate a lot of RAM to it. I can also use Visual Studio Code because I love the way that it looks, and as opposed to some FTP control panels, I can type something in, I can do Control S to save it. I know DeddyMC and I think Pebblehost can do that, but I just like being able to do it in Visual Studio Code because I'm used to how it looks. Anyways, you didn't come here to hear me ramble about what to use. You came here to figure out how the hell do I code. What I usually do first is a command to reset or restart your series. So I'm just going to do command/thirdlife_start. This colon is to figure out that you're going to indent next, and this first colon is just to that I know that this start relates to this third life. And anytime you're working with commands that you want to make sure that only admins can use, you're going to want to put before the trigger permission opt, which obviously means that only people who are opt can run it. So after trigger, you're going to press enter and you're going to indent again, and you're going to want to put whatever you want to use. I'm just going to put in debug, that way we know it's working, and I can go back to Minecraft and do reload lifeseries.sk, and then I can do /thirdlifestart. I'll send debug in chat because if we go back, I put it in a broadcast. However, first, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to loop all players, which means that for every player currently online, it's going to run the code you put in once. And because I'm the only one online, it's going to run it once. What you can also do in a loop all players is you can access which player you're currently on. So you can get loop player. You go back and you reload it again, and it'll send my name because I'm the only one online. If there were multiple people online, it would send the names of all the people in chat because we're looping all players and we're broadcasting their names. Now we're going to remove this because you don't need it. And with this, we can do set lives : the loop player to 3. Now what this does is it obviously sets a variable to a number. This variable is the lives list variable, and the reason you want to do a list variable as opposed to a actual variable is unknown to me. So I think it's just better for optimization. I have no clue. I just saw other people using list variables. I copied them. So I guess it's good. And in this list variable, you're going to grab whatever value is under the loop player's name. So if we do another broadcast, and instead of putting it in quotes, we just grab the variable, it should broadcast the number 3 because it's broadcasting my name inside of that list variable. We can get rid of that. And now we want to figure out, how do we color people's names? What you're going to want to do first is, outside of this command, you're going to put an onload event. Onload means whenever you reload or restart your server, it's going to run. So we're going to put in loop all players again, console command /team add loop player, and then double quote, and inside those, loop player again. First explanation, why are we using double quotes? For the double quotes here, it's because in the team add command, to put a team name, you have to put them in 1 quotes. And inside of Skript, if you want to put a quote inside of a quote, you have to double quote. Unknown to me, I think you can maybe use the %signs. I don't know. I just follow whatever Skript tells me to do. Now, the reason that we're making teams specific to players as opposed to like team add green, team add yellow, team add red, is because if you do specific colors or life count, you're going to be able to see the other players on your life count if they're invisible, And things like dogs will not attack people on your life count because of friendly fire, I believe. I think there might be a way to fix that in just vanilla Minecraft, but you know what? This fixes it anyways. And now this works entirely, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, wait. You have to add another command, which is just /team join %% loop player loop player to make sure they're actually on the team, so that way when you modify its color, you can actually see it in game. I tried recording this tutorial once, and it took me so long to figure out that was why they weren't getting colored that I just restarted the entire thing. After we have this done, we can make a function. The reason we're making a function for coloring teams is because you don't want to put the entire brick of code as to like how people are getting colored everywhere that you need to color them. So it's obviously just a lot better if you have any coding knowledge to put into a function. What I usually call it is life colors because it's pretty general. Inside the parentheses, you're going to put p:player, and I'll explain that here in a second. The reason you put p:player is because that adds a temporary variable to the function. _p is going to be whatever player you input. So with this broadcast, if in third life start, we put life colors loop player, and then we go back to Minecraft, reload the plugin, it should, because we have it broadcast whatever player we put into the function, it'll say my name. Now we can remove that, add an if statement for if lives : %% _p, grabbing the inputted player's life count from the variable, equals 3, console command /team modify %% _p green. And now if we go back to Minecraft and we reload the plugin, as you can see I'm orange right now because I was doing something else earlier. You can do third life start. My apologies. So right here, team modify _p color green. All right, now we go back and then we reload it and then we start it and now I'm green. And now to make the other colors, we can actually just go here. We can actually just paste this twice. And then you're actually going to put else if, and then else if again. That way it doesn't run all three. Change these to 2 and 1. And instead of color green, color yellow. And then color red. Now that we have the basic stuff here, actually, no we don't. Else. And then, actually I'm going to make this greater than or equal to 3. That way if they're above 3, it doesn't perma them. Set _p's game mode to spectator. And you can probably guess what that is. Set the inputted player's game mode to spectator. And then if you want to add a title for whenever someone permas, you can do send title, whatever color you want, %% _p, so it'll be their username. And then I like to do a subtitle with subtitle color is out of lives. If you don't want to do a subtitle, you can just merge these two and make it is out of lives. Because I don't want to repaste that, I'm just going to keep it like that. And then to send it to all players, it's going to be send title to all players. And then for the lightning, strike lightning effect at _p. And the reason I emphasize effect is because if you don't put effect, it's still going to strike lightning, but it'll be real lightning that spawns fire, which is bad. So you put strike lightning effect, that way it just summons the entity and doesn't deal any damage to anyone around you, and it's just actually lightning. Now that we have all of this done, we can do our death event now. So on death of player, or you could just do on death if victim is player. It's better to do on death of player because it's one less line and that looks nice. Don't be dumb like me, where I will sometimes do on death and then just code everything normally without putting if victim as player. So I've done that a lot of times, and especially limited lives, where if you just kill a mob, you'll gain time, which is really funny, but obviously you don't want that. So you just want to do on death of player, or like I said, if victim is player. So on death of player, instead of in a loop all players where you can have loop player, in an on death of player, you're going to have the victim and the attacker. And because it's third life and not like limited life where you have something with the attacker, you're just going to deal with the victim. So on death of player, you're just going to subtract 1 from lives, percent loop, not loop player actually, percent victim. And then again, we're going to grab this function, which you can also just type out instead of pasting, which will then do this and then color them. So if we go back, we reload. Did I mention that I'm a mediocre coder? So you're not going to just put subtract 1 lives. You're going to do subtract 1 from lives. And then because I just pasted this in, I forgot to put victim. So it's going to be life colors victim. And then that'll fix our errors. You're seeing actual coding in the making here, folks, because I'm not actually the greatest. So now if we just reset everything to be sure, we can do just /kill. Oh, fall float. And now I'm yellow. Let me actually, give me a second. Well, we're in a different biome now, but as you can see, now I'm yellow. And then if I spawn point, pretend you right here, /kill. Now I'm red. I'm just going to simulate what would actually happen if you were on 1 life and you just like died to fall damage or something. So just right here. Oh no, I'm falling. Cortenu fell from a high place. Cortenu is out of lives. And this is very simple. I think this is all you would really need for just a basic, I want to do a third life. But if we want to do a little bit of polishing, what you could do is, again, switch this into a subtitle, where I think this could actually be like gray, and instead of just having their name be red in their afterlife, you could have it be modify color gray. And what I forgot to mention is when you run this command, there should also be send and 7 for gray, resetting the season. That way, whoever runs the command actually knows that it ran. Now, this is all you technically need, but if you're actually trying to have a fun time while being an admin and not have a headache, you're gonna need a few more commands. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do command /third life edit lives. The dash here is just so that it's not like that and it looks weird whenever you try to run the command. We're gonna do permission op again, trigger, and instead of doing all this, we can do, oh wait, hold on. When you type this in order to input a number into the command, you're gonna do the 2 little arrow signs that are your comma and period on your keyboard. I don't actually know what they're called. I'm a genius. You're gonna put integer, because if you put number, you're gonna be able to put something like 3.5, 2.74132. So we're just gonna put an integer, that way it can only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on. Or 0, because then you could, you know, perma them. And before this, actually, we're gonna put player. That way you can actually choose which player you want to edit. And to access these inside the command, we're going to do set lives : because the player is put in first, ARG or argument -1. I usually put ARG for shorthand. To ARG2, so we're going to set the player you inputted lives to ARG2, the number you inputted. And then that way the person actually knows it worked. You can do send and 7, set %% ARG1, again, the person you inputted, lives to %% ARG2, the number you put in. And then with this, you're also gonna have to make sure you do life colors, ARG1 for the player you put in. I know I'm repeating myself a lot. I just want to make sure that I explain this, because a lot of tutorials for coding that I watch a lot of the time just don't explain a lot. So we go back to Minecraft and we do reload, life series, and then we can do third life, edit lives, pretend you a bunch of lives, and that'll set me to green. And then even though I'm green, if I die, because my life count was so high, I'm still green. Now, because this tutorial is more about third life, I'm not going to go into anything like how to make a boogeyman or how to make soul binds, because that's all later seasons. If you guys want me to make another tutorial about those, I will be happy to. Just leave me a comment down below. I'm also not going to go into anything like custom twists, as that's for all of you guys to make. I can't see into the future and figure out what you all are going to make. If you guys have some suggestions about custom twists, again, leave it down in the comments. If they're simple enough, maybe I'll tackle them and make a tutorial on them as well. However, how I will go into twists is that the documentation for Skript is your best friend. So let me open up Google real quick. This is the documentation. So if I actually let me go to home. So is a scripting plugin? Yep. This is Skript documentation, all the supported features of the plugin here. So in docs, you have events, which are things like on break, which will run if you break something, on I don't know what that means. On consume, which is like when you eat something. On first join is obviously whenever someone joins the server for the first time. If we go back, there's conditions, which are like, which are what you can put into like an if statement. So like if entity has AI or doesn't have artificial intelligence, if player is banned, God, what are some of these? Like, oh my lord. Is jumping, which is, you know, if a player is jumping. Sections, which are just stuff, you know, so just something you would just know in your, you would get from knowledge of coding. Effects are things that happen, like, you know, banning a player or canceling drops on death, or you know, killing a player, which is sometimes what you would do if you do a death effect in a life series. That way the person actually dies at the end. Where's cancel the event? Cancel the event is also like a really important one. Cancel event is like, if you want to turn off PvP, you would do like on damage of player, you would do cancel event. That way, you know, it doesn't go through that they're being damaged. The reason I say the doc's your best friend is if you want to do something, because I compare Skript so much to like just English and being able to speak and like tell a computer to do something, you can just type whatever you want to do in Skript. So like if you wanted to give the player something, you could look up give, like, or like give item. You get what I mean. If you want to just look for something like that, it's really easy, and there's actually like very little compared to like a lot of coding languages in terms of what you can do, but that also makes it very simple to learn. What you can also do is, again, because there's so little in Skript, you can just look up whatever problem you're having, which is what I've done a lot in the past to figure out what I need to do. So if you wanted to do like give the player an item script, give the player an item. I know light mode, it hurts my eyes as well. Yeah, look, see, script forums, give the player 1 diamond sword of sharpness sharp. You know, you could just look through this, see what solution they got, and, you know, borrow it for yourself. This was a very simple tutorial, but I think this gives you most of what you need to know when it comes to making a life series. Again, Skript is pretty simple. It shouldn't be too hard to learn. If you really need to learn anything else, come to me, come to anyone in the community who you know codes in Skript, because I think they'll probably be glad to help you. I hope this helped you actually learn like how to do things in the magic that is Skript. I've done a lot in Skript. Let me actually grab some of my like biggest files to show. This is a life series called Rogue Life that I did. Go check it out. It still isn't even finished. We're not even on the finale yet. I'm really proud of it. This is 3.5 thousand lines because it was so complicated to code a GUI. Look, most of this is figuring out how to display a big GUI, like a shop. Like, you could do so much, whether or not it's laggy to shit. But anyways, again, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. If you want to come to me, I'll be glad to help you. Other than that, go have fun coding. I hope you don't have to go bang your head against a wall like I do a lot of the time.